Good evening and welcome to the deliberative session of the Fall Mountain Regional School District's annual meeting. To begin the meeting, I would like to call on the Fall Mountain JROTC cadets to present the colors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Requesting permission to post the colors, sir.
Permission granted.
Thank you, sir. Order. Colors. Post. 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 Present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Post. Post.
Thank you, gentlemen. Please be seated. Again, welcome. I guess I'd like to start the meeting by introducing the folks up here at the head table. Once again, if you're just coming into the meeting, you need to check in with your supervisor or the checklist down here in front and pick up a voting card so that you can vote if we need to or be recognized if you need to be. Sitting here at the head table, I'm going to start on my immediate left. Misty Bushy is the school district clerk. Jim Fenn is the school district business administrator. Lori Landry is the superintendent of schools. Mr. Upton, David Upton? Matt Upton, excuse me, is the school district attorney. Mary Henry is the chairman of the school board. And the members of the school board are Andy Collins, John Streeter, Lil DeCoste, Gabe Bailey, Linda Christie, and David Hogan. Gabe St. Pierre, I'm sorry. Gabe St. Pierre, excuse me. Too many Gabes in Charlestown. Okay. And I guess at this time I'd like to call on Lori Landry to introduce you to the school district administrative staff.
I would like to introduce our grade administrators. I'm going to start with Charlestown Middle School and North Charlestown School, Paula Souther-Stevens. Charlestown Primary School, Chris Young. Alstead attendance area is Gail Rowe, and that is Sarah Porter, Silas, and Halstead Primary. Sam Jacobs is Walpole attendance area schools. Our high school is Richard Town, and Holly. Our technology director is Lynn Phillips. Special education director is Donna Jones. Kristen Wilson is our curriculum coordinator. Bill Bonney, facilities manager.
Okay, I'd like to begin the meeting just by reading through the kind of general rules we're going to be operating under for this meeting. As the deliberative session of the Fall Mountain Regional School District, our purpose tonight is to discuss, debate, and potentially amend the articles appearing on the warrant. Actual voting on the articles will take place at your respective town meeting ballot voting sessions to be held on March 14th. Tonight's meeting format will be as follows. After each article is read, I will recognize a member of the school board or budget committee for a motion on the article. If seconded, I will ask a member of the school board or budget committee to explain the article. The floor will then be open for discussion and potential amendment of the article. Following discussion and in the amendment, I will announce that I am closing consideration of the article and we'll move on to the next one. Again, voting on the actual articles will take place at your respective town meeting ballot voting sessions on March 14th. We will only take actual votes tonight on any amendments to the articles. Please refrain from speaking until you've been recognized. If you know in advance that you wish to speak to an article or amendment, please write your name and the article number you'd like to address on a piece of paper and hand it to me. If during the course of debate you would like to speak, please raise your voting card that you've all received, and I will wait to be recognized. When you're recognized, please state your name and town of residence. Please direct your comments to me and not to anyone else in the hall. Please speak clearly and concisely, limiting your remarks to the subject matter at hand, and avoid any personal attacks or disruptive behavior. Please remain courteous and speak to the issues themselves, not to the individuals raising them. If you would like to speak a second time, I will recognize you after those who have not yet spoken have had a chance to do so. I will employ rules to keep this meeting moving along while being as inclusive as possible, and will not necessarily follow Robert's or any other published rules of order. There will be no non-debatable motions except motions to cease debate. I will not accept any motion to cease debate or move the question until everyone who has requested to speak or is waiting to speak has had a chance to do so, or until, in my opinion or my judgment, we have had adequate debate. I will only allow one motion to amend at a time. If you would like to offer an amendment, please do the following. Print it legibly on a piece of paper. When recognized, please read your amendment and hand it to me. I will then ask for a second, and if forthcoming, you will have an opportunity to speak on your amendment. Ballot votes on amendments are required when requested in writing by 5 registered voters who are present at the meeting when the request is made. Such requests may be made at any time the motion is under consideration, up until the time that a voice or division vote is taken. While I do not wish to discourage anyone from exercising their right to request a ballot vote, I would remind you that they can be time-consuming, so please exercise that right judiciously. Ballot votes may also be taken in the event that the outcome or a division or voice vote is unclear to me, or if requested by 7 registered voters immediately after the vote is declared and before we move on to any other business. Finally, I'd like to say a few words regarding the matter of non-voter participation in this meeting. First, I want to emphasize that only registered voters in the district's 5 towns are eligible to participate in any vote we might take tonight. Registered voters have been handed a voting card. Again, you should have gotten this from your respective supervisor. On any vote, please show your card so that you can be counted. In the event that a secret ballot vote is requested on any amendment, go to your respective town supervisors to receive a ballot. Please mark the ballot designated for that vote and place it in the ballot box, which is over in that corner right now. If it is brought to my attention that any non-registered individual attempts to cast a vote on any question before the meeting, I will ask that that person be removed from the room. At my discretion, I will allow non-voters to speak to a question for the purpose of providing specific legal or technical information that will be useful to the voters in making their decision. I will not, however, allow non-voters to participate in the debate simply to advocate for or against any particular question that we might consider tonight. So those are the rules. If anybody has any questions? Nobody has any questions. I guess I'll move on to the first warrant article. We usually all received a handout that were available out in front of the room. Article 1.
Mr. Moderator, point of order.
Sir?
Is it possible to have the lights turned on so that we can read the small print?
Steve Neal has requested that the lights be turned up in the room. We will be having a PowerPoint presentation, so we may need to turn them back down again during that presentation. Most of the articles are going to appear on the screen at the front of the room here, so we may not need to leave the lights on through the entire meeting, because the articles will be presented on the screen at the back of the room. Okay. Article 1. Shall the Fall Mountain Regional School District raise and appropriate as an operating budget, not including appropriations by special warrant articles and others voted separately, the amount set forth in the budget posted with a warrant or as amended by vote of the first session for the purposes set forth therein, totaling $29,911,399. Should this article be defeated, the default budget shall be $29,964,586, which is the same as last year, with certain adjustments required by previous action of the Fall Mountain Regional School District or by law, or the governing body may hold one special meeting in accordance with RSA 4013, 10, and 16 to take up the issue of a revised operating budget only. This majority vote is required on this, and the school board recommends this appropriation by a vote of 4-3. 4-3, yes, no. 4-3, yes, 3, no, excuse me. And I'd like to start by recognizing Andy Collins.
I move the article.
Okay. And this second? Moved by Andy Collins and seconded by John Streeter.
So I don't know about you guys, but truthfully, how many people went to bed at halftime on Sunday night? Anybody? No. Nobody? That was incredible. I've got to read off my cheat sheet because I don't have a really good memory, but as far as the budget, once again, we're dealing with a shrinking revenue stream and increasing costs where the taxpayers act to pick up the tab. Federal and state governments have no problem mandating certain things with little or no funds attached. No child left behind, every student succeeds, Common Core, whatever the flavor of the month is, all have costs associated with them, yet we have no say or we lose funding. As you may or may not know, New Hampshire's state aid to public education ranks dead last in the nation. New Hampshire's public colleges and universities have the highest in-state tuition rate in the country, and New Hampshire college graduates are saddled with the highest student debt in the nation at just over $36,000. We are all well aware of the spiraling cost of education in our state and here at Fall Mountain. The budget that we are presenting here tonight is the result of many hours of hard work by some very dedicated people. There were lots of revisions along the way, taking into account students' needs versus the public's ability to pay. In the end, we believe this budget provides our students with a broad program of studies with abounding opportunities while continuing to provide the fiscal responsibility that you demand. It doesn't matter what the budget number is. Many of you won't agree with it. It's either too much or too little. Everyone has his or her own vision of what education here should look like. We're trying really hard to present a fair and equitable budget for all stakeholders. My sincere appreciation goes out to the administrators who rose to the challenge and made the hard decisions that have led us here tonight. Thank you. I hope that after some consideration, you will support this budget as presented. And I think now I'm going to turn this over to Superintendent Landry and our Business Administrator Jim Fenn to give us a little PowerPoint on the budget. Thank you.
Lori, before you start, I forgot to do something here. I'd like to remind you all that there are refreshments out back that are being served by the Abbey Group, which is the Fall Mountain food service provider, and they're providing those refreshments at no charge to the district. So please, please avail yourself of that service.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to welcome you to our annual deliberative session. Thank you for making the time to join us tonight. Educating a child is a process that begins at home and continues all the way through school and eventually into the workplace. Education cannot be measured by a single day or a single event. It's a lifelong journey that builds on successes in school, our Fall Mountain School. It is a continuum of support from parents, teachers, and friends. We are fortunate to have the support of many community members, administrators here tonight, and teachers that share in our vision of the graduate. Upon graduation, Fall Mountain students will have the academic, social abilities to actively apply their knowledge, skills as ethically responsible citizens, well equipped to succeed in the community, country, and world. Our administrative team believes in this vision, and our budget reflects this pathway. Our goal is to support the district's vision of our students' future. We are here tonight to ensure what we have started at Fall Mountain continues for your children and for our students. This is their future. The 2017-18 budget process started at the end of the summer, and we now have the opportunity to take it into the 17-18 school year. And yes, there are many reductions in our budget, but our budget still reflects our goals that we started with in August. They are to provide a quality education at Fall Mountain that supports the vision of the graduate, to ensure every student has the skills necessary to be career, college, and life ready, to produce students that will be productive members of our community and our country, and 4, to limit the impact any cuts would have on students' instructional programming. Tonight, we would like to give you an overview of our budget and ask for your support. The process, zero-based budget, not an expenditure budget. Principals worked with their staff starting with 0 to build their budget. And we started this at the end of August. Principals then met with Jim, our business manager, and myself, and reviewed every line, staffing requests. This was done numerous times. We met 3 times with our school board finance committee, and even more on our own. And every time and every meeting, additional discussions and changes as well as reductions were made. At our last school board meeting, we were asked to reduce our budget by $300,000. We did, and a list of reductions were sent to all the staff. What we're going to do now is just talk about some of the reductions that we made. During our first 2 meetings, we realized that there was a lot of items that we had put into the budget And so we asked every building principal to go back and make some reductions. An LSAT attendance area, there was $102,000 reduced. Walpole attendance area, there was $88,532 that was reduced. Charlestown attendance area was $75,843. Fall Mountain High School reduced their budget by $232,653. District was $144,482. Workers' comp insurance was $38,000, which brought our total reductions down to $682,603. A lot of the reductions were in wages and benefits, supplies, textbooks, printed material, classroom equipment, furniture, field trips, many, many areas. We presented our budget the first presentation was in November, and then we presented our budget again. We were asked at that time to further reduce our expenditures, and we did. We reduced $100,000 in health insurance cost. SPED out-of-district cost was reduced by $75,000. Food service program subsidy was reduced by $30,000. Non-staff lines and all attendance areas in a combination brought the reductions down another $28,000. CPS support staff position was brought down $20,000. Central office budget lines were brought down $15,000 more. River Valley Tech Center, we reduced the allocations there, another $15,000. Utilities, $10,000. Staff and public relations item was reduced $7,000, which totals $300,000 in cuts.
One of the difficult things when you're reducing a budget in any public school, not just Fall Mountain, is that 82% of your budget is either wages or benefits, which means when you make a significant cut or reduction in your budget, it always impacts people. Through the course of this process, we removed almost $400,000 of wages and benefits. Because some of them were new positions, because a couple of them are positions that either we have retirements in, or we've done some reorganization because of vacancy, there is nobody that we are going to be laying off at the end of the school year, but we did reduce close to $400,000 in wages and benefits in order to get to where we are. This was an important and difficult process because people are so important to our process that we had to really look at how we deliver education and rethink some of the things we do. So our budget summary, really in our budget is $15,988,000 of wages, benefits are $6.9 million, purchase professional services of $433,000. So purchase professional services are things like lawyers, auditors, medical services that we would use, or psychological services for some of our special ed programs, consultants, and some of our professional development. Repairs and maintenance, which includes water and sewer and repairs of the buildings, rents, and leases, including bus leases. Our 500 other purchase services of $1.5 million. That includes our communications, our advertising, our printing, our travel, and over $1.2 million in tuition. And the tuition is primarily special ed tuition, but a couple $100,000 of that is also tuition to the vocational programs that our students take advantage of at the high school level. Our supply line of almost $1.3 million. Supplies, this includes all the classroom supplies, all the cleaning supplies, all the supplies for the maintenance, but also includes our electric bills, our oil, our propane, the pellets for our pellet boilers, all the books in the library, the textbooks, all the printing materials, the workbooks that the kids at the elementary use, and all our electronic media. 700 property, 312,000. This includes furniture, vehicles, and equipment, along with any building expansion or something that we do. We didn't have any building expansion, but we did do some roof replacements and things like that in this budget. Our debt, we have $131,000 of debt service payments in this budget. That is all a Charlestown expense. Charlestown did a major